This one guy, and I can't remember his name for the life of me, but this one guy had a program that he had started doing that just started to make a lot of sense to me. It sounded like what what a customer would expect in the purchasing process. And so what he was doing was, I'm just going to use easy math. So $10 a person was what he charged, $10 a person. That included shoes. And he did, if you got one or two people, you get an hour of bowling.
Okay.
If you do 3 to 4, you get an hour and a half. And if you get 5 or more, you get 2 hours.
Okay.
And again, easy math for the person coming in and buying
Right.
it, $10 a person. It fits what our guests' expectations are. Think again, traditional league bowlers doesn't fit their expectation at all.
Sure.
Like,
right.
no matter, in my mind, no matter how much you go into a house where like gung-ho, we're going to go time, we're going to worry about our table flip, we're going to try to get the lanes turned over faster.
Yeah.
And we know when the lanes are getting done, so let's get people up to the counter early.
Yep.
No matter how effective that is, your league bowlers primarily are going to expect some form of game bowling for them to purchase.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really kind of where my focus has been, is as we develop stuff, who am I selling it to? What way can I make this program, this deal, fit into a specific guest's expectations so that it's just easy for them to say yes.
So is that how you guys price currently? Is the $10 a person at the?
It's $14.50 a person now.
Okay. And
it's all plus tax.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a cool, I haven't heard of that before. A cool way to do it that makes sense from a volume standpoint of how many people you have and how long it's actually going to take you. Because otherwise someone typically always loses in the bet, right? If it's a hard bet that it can't be fixed at all, then there's usually going to have one party that loses out.
Yeah. I don't know if it stars and strikes out of the Atlanta market, but I know there's a group that has been doing individual pay, and everybody that pays, you get 20 minutes. So you got 2 people on a lane, you got 40 minutes. You got 3 people on a lane, you got an hour.
Okay.
Basically it times out where whatever they're buying, they're going to be able to get about 2 games done.
Yeah.
And that's pretty similar to where we started out.
Yeah.
I ended up taking that hour and a half period and just splitting in the middle. So if they got 1 to 3 people, they get an hour. If they get 4 or more, they get 2 hours. The reason being that that spot in the middle was just became a disconnect for customers. Like they just
too many options.
They didn't get it.
Yeah.
But that's the way we've been operating. Now, naturally, again, with traveling with Cubica, talking to centers, there's plenty of advantage of going to just an hour of bowling. Say, hey, an hour of bowling is going to be $35, $40. If you're really busy on the weekends, $50, $60. There's plenty of reason to do that. And then have shoes on top of it. It's just, again, just me personally thinking about a guest and trying to put my mind in a guest who hasn't been bowling. I remember there was a sign we used to have when we purchased the center that said 1 in 6 people bowl every year, come bowling once a year, 1 in 6. And that was like 1990, 2000, somewhere
it's still
around there.
Roughly true today.
I think BPA reported, though, that it's close to 1 in 10 to 1 in 12.
Oh, really?
Is I think where they had a recent research on that.
Okay. Yeah. Last I saw, it was like 70 million people in the US each year. So
yeah, but we got 300 million people in the US, though. I mean,
330, 340.
Yeah. So again, it could be close, but it's just the idea that so many people just, if they're coming in to bowl, there's a solid chance it's the first time.
Right.
Or
they don't remember if it's been a year or two.
And they don't know what they're buying. It's like going into the store. It'd be like if you went into a store and you're like, hey, I want some hot sauce. And you go to the hot sauce aisle and you don't know what's going to be mild necessarily. Right. You don't know what's going to put you on fire.
Right.
And that's kind of in my mind when a guest comes in, if you really haven't thought on how clearly you're selling your product, that again, they just don't know what they're buying. They don't know. So to me, to make it simpler, it just made sense to me say, what, if I make it a per person purchase, they go to the movies. They know what it's like to buy a movie ticket.
Right.
They know what an hour or so of their time's worth. And they understand if you got a family coming in, mom, dad, 1 kid, 2 kids, they get it. They say, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll be here a while. We'll have a good time.
Right.
If you go into the point and say, hey, it's just going to be an hour, there's going to be some parents that are going to be like, hey, $50 for an hour of bowling. And, when it's just one group price and it's only a mom, a dad, and a kid, that sounds pretty steep. That may sound steep to them.
Right.
It may not. Whereas I could be getting roughly the same price, but it's just priced per person.
Right.
Now, again,
how does that affect your revenue per game bowled? Does that stay even? I guess since in that bet that we talked about, some people, like with that family you just mentioned, they would kind of be taking a loss on that, but another party might be gaining with that kind of arrangement. How does that work for you guys? Is it split it down the middle, or does your revenue per game change since making that switch?
It does fluctuate based off the number of bodies that come in the door. Again, I personally frame it in my head of my goal, because it's kind of the average, is when somebody comes in to get a lane for an hour, I want to price that point at what do I want to get out of two people for 1 hour of bowling.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have one person come in and they're going to be there and they're going to bowl an hour and oh no, they got me. But that's okay. On the lane right next door to them, I've got 3 people bowling.
Right.
And that extra person still evens out throughout the center.
Yeah.
And with that being said, if I've got 4 people on a lane, that's my 2 hour ideal right there, is the 4 people.
And that's your
anyone
2
else
people for an hour.
Yeah. And then if they got 5 or they've got 6, that's just that much more bringing that balance into play.
I see. Okay.
So since I've operated like this, since I've decided to operate like this and give it a try, again, it's been good to us. It's been pretty good to us. Our guests understand what they're buying. Of course, like any other business, we try to price where about 10% of our guests are like, oh, that's a little steep. But if you don't have people saying, oh, that's a little steep, you're leaving money on the table that you could, if everybody comes in and goes, wow, what a steal, you might want to reconsider your price.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And again, because that puts back, like I said, when we first got here, $1 game, $1 per person, $1 shoe rental. You could get a coupon anywhere.
Right. Well, it's hard to maintain and keep a clean facility and a well-maintained facility when everybody's getting that kind of a discount. It's hard to put money back into the center.
Exactly. And then with that pricing too, that pricing model that we let it fluctuate throughout the day. So like right now, if somebody were to come in before noon, it's basically half price. If you get out here before noon. At the same time, when the leagues get done, it used to be you could just hear a dime drop. If we kept full pricing, we're open to 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday.
Okay.
We're open to 11 p.m. So our leagues would get done. We didn't have anything going on. And I was like, well, I need a traffic driver. How can I make it match this? And so we started doing $5 a person.
Okay.
$5 a person. And it's turned, like I said, our 9 to 11 2-hour period is added another. When we first started it added an extra almost like about $1,000 or $1,500 a week is what it did when we got started.
Yeah.
And over time, now that's grown to be a pretty popular time. Now we still got people that come in and bowl full price, 6 to 8, 7 to 9, 8 to 10. They'll come in and they still pay that full price.
Right.
Mind you, we got leagues going, and so they're on the other section of the leagues. But then afterwards, when we used to have nothing, we've got almost a full house.
Right.
And in the peak period of the year, it is a full house with people waiting. In that 2-hour time period, we get lane turnover. Some people come in, they've only bowled 1 game, and they're like, all right, we're done. Bye. We've had our...
Well, and it's a peak food and beverage time as well.
Well, definitely adult beverages. If you've got adult beverages, that program can be fantastic.
Exactly, right.
To add to your revenue at the end of the night. And but yeah, that's just the thing. Is as the industry has changed and our guest expectations have changed, you can keep a pricing structure and still have it be advantageous throughout the week. And that was one of the big culture things I had to change when we got in here, is we were a center that was operating under that 7 days in a week, 7 specials a week.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, oh man, Wednesdays, what's happened to Wednesdays? And we got to come up with a new special for Wednesday. And it's like, how? We just started doing $1 game thing, or we just started doing quarter bowling, quarter mania on Thursdays. How do you beat a quarter? How do you beat these deals?
Right.
We're just competing with ourselves. I was like, let's sit down, come up with some pricing that's fair across the board. That, again, when do we need people? Sunday through Thursday, 9 to 11? Yeah, you know what? I can do I could do El Cheapo bowling on those days. It's not going to hurt
those
me.
times. Yeah.
Am I going to do $5 during prime time? No.
Right. No.
Is it going to be on the weekend? No. I'm a firm believer. Friday to 5 and then through Sunday, you don't need to discount that.
No,
you don't.
No. Nope.
Now, again, some centers, Sunday morning, you might need to do a discount. Other centers, Sunday night, you might need to do a discount, wherever that split is for your center. But again, that's just, know your market, know what your folks are going for.
Right.
But really, again, don't look at it as like, oh, it's got to be bowling. It's got to be per game. There's a million different ways we can skin this cat called bowling. Right. A million different ways we can present it to people's advantage. And let's look outside the box sometimes. Let's look for different options.
Yeah, I think one of the main takeaways is dynamic pricing. It's all about demand. When is your demand highest? When your price is highest? When is your demand lowest? That's when your price is lowest. At the end of the day, that's going to be best for the customer and for the proprietor.
Hey, did you like this video? Great. We make 10 of them a week. Subscribe to learn more and keep learning about what's working in the industry. Talk to you then.